just once and for all at this point where we're trying to social distance and protect ourselves. Tell us what you think. We'll be sampling your views as we go along with the show. But joining me for the discussion this morning is former Mwingi Central Member of Parliament, Joe Mutambo, as well as lawyer Ambrose Weda, who are going to carry us through the analysis of the press as well as those political discussions that we're going to have in a short while. Now, let's take a look at the Standard newspaper this morning. The front page tells us all eyes on Uhuru. That is a discussion that we shall be having on the other side of the break, the second half of the first hour. But then there is this one on COVID-19, and it has to do with Senator Sakaja. We're told on the front of the Standard newspaper, top civil servant help Sakaja escape arrest. Nairobi Senator Johnson Sakaja, who was found partying in a bar after curfew hours, was to report, of course, to the police on Saturday, but went into hiding. Police are saying that he is being shielded by a top civil servant. I'll start with you, Honorable Mutambo. What do you make of this? The leaders are not leading by example.
I'm a bit disturbed. First and foremost, before I engage into this discussion, since we are talking about laws, allow me to pass my sincere condolences to our Cabinet Secretary who lost our daughter. I know the entire water fraternity led by our Abo PS, Wanairungu, we are in mourning. And on my behalf and that of my board, which I share, we want to send our sincere condolences to her. It's sad for a mother to bury a daughter,
yes,
or any parent to lose a child. So allow me to do that. Then going back to Sakaja. Sakaja is one of my good friends and a person I respect so much, whom I know he respects the law. And the problem in our country is that actually most of the leaders are the ones who are breaking the laws. We set the laws and they don't follow them. I was just asking a lawyer here, Ambrose, when you are arrested and breaching COVID rules, and what law are you charged? There are so many laws within our laws, our penal code, which you can be charged of. But what I think is that I think the politicians are taking advantage because they have not come up with the legislation to guide what charge can one be charged of, apart from being charged with loitering. That is what I'm getting from my good lawyer, Ambrose, and any other related charges, either being out, also being out of the time given, or the degree given by the president, is also an offense by itself. So to me, I think, I don't know when people say that Sakaja is being shielded by
top civil servant.
Top civil servant.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that is true, because for him, Sakaja is a known person, and everybody knows where Sakaja lives. So the police should not tell us that he's being shielded. I don't know whether he's in minister's house or in Weda's house or somewhere. It's a public figure. So, and I would urge Sakaja, if this is the case and the police are looking for him, he should not hide. Just come out and say, here I am, charge me, go to court. And many good lawyers, you will see Ambrose Weda and the rest in the court trying to say, no, Sakaja was not wrong. So you should not fear.
And Mr. Weda, I'm curious, what would be the penalty for what he did, caught out partying when we're not supposed to be doing that? What would be the cost of this particular breakage of the law, and why would he have to resort to hiding? Is it something that he cannot shoulder? Is it a fine? You're a lawyer, you would know.
Yes, it will not be like the Waluka fine. This one will be some small fine, 20,000, 10,000. Under the emergency regulations and various laws. There are various laws you can cobble up. Quite a number of, they are called misdemeanors, small issues. What I know is Honorable Sakaja is hiding because of the consequences. What he did looks, allow me to use a harsher word, foolish for a leader of his status. If any other person did it, it's okay. But now he was there, and what I saw on social media, he had come out with his two beautiful children, urging Kenyans to be careful about corona. And I was told by my children they were rapping and trying to talk to Kenyans nicely, and they did a beautiful video. Then you imagine that you are out whining and dining and disregarding the very things you are telling him. So it is the double standards that is causing him the dilemma. It is not that he fears or is being shielded. He's not being shielded. If these people can go for top people, if they wanted him, they would get him. It is just that he wants to get off the embarrassment. And being on President Uhuru's side, one of the key allies, arresting him would be embarrassing to quite a number of people, and you can be easily dropped like that. So that is why he is paying hanky-panky so that this matter dies. I thought as a young man, he has not been to the trenches. He's just risen under President Uhuru like that. He should have easily come and say, sorry, I made a mistake. This was wrong. I will not repeat this. We are moving forward. Kenyans forgive. It's a lot easier than pretending, where was I arrested? Oh, blah, 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 blah. That kind of conduct now worsens it. Yes, occasionally they go out drinking and smoking all over as they tell other Kenyans to stay in the house. But when you make a mistake, you apologize. Absolutely. That's the leader we want in him. He has potential, but he should know that also a time comes when you go through the trenches. His has not come. It's just been good. You are nominated, you are chairman of TNA, you are this and that, and then you are senator. A time will come when you sit by the roadside. It should not come because you are busy doing the COVID drinking. That would be wrong. I pray for him that he should repair back to this kind of serious leader we think he should be.
Absolutely. And do you think there's a place for leading by example? We have had stories even in the US where they want the president to wear a mask so that the people can take this seriously. So I would assume even in Kenya, the leaders and their conduct would have us take this more seriously. I want to tag another story onto that one. And this is the patients fleeing a ward over that virus. Patients, it's causing a lot of anxiety, and one would hope, this is on page 7 of the Standard, one would hope that by the leadership behaving in a certain way, then the country would follow suit and even take things more seriously, and even when it comes to anxiety, quell certain forms of anxiety. Honorable Mutambo.
To me, I want to believe that most of the leaders who align themselves with the government actually are the ones who are letting the same government which they are serving down, and they are the same people who are letting the president down. They are not. Most of the leaders are not living by the example.
Yes.
I want to give an example given by my peers. When the president announced the curfew, I was in Malindi, I remember that day, and we were heading for a function. And the PS called all of us and said, no, the president has announced that there's no gathering, so everybody should go home. And we were dispatched to go home. That is a leader who can help people achieve what they want. But the same people who feel that they are untouchable and they are up there and they are on the side of the president and they are campaigning, or they are politically they are connected to the president, they are the same people who are negating the same spirit the president is fighting for, and for the same spirit of the country. So my take is that actually it is the leaders themselves who are doing this, and I will tell you, they were not sent by the president to do so. They are doing it by their own coercion, by willing. They are doing it from their own heart. Nobody is telling them to do that, but the bulk stops at the government. The bulk stops at the president. You are president, man. Why are you not wearing mask? You are president, man. Why are you behaving in this manner? We saw what happened, and I can tell you, I don't know whether President has sent Eugene Wamalwa to go out and start having all these meetings which are rubbing the government on the wrong shoulders. As a politician, I would also raise the same questions. Why are you arresting me? Why are you arresting Kalwale? And Eugene Wamalwa is on the other side, and they are speaking the same thing, same language. So they are converging, they are holding rallies, and actually Eugene's meeting has more people than the other, because when it comes to protocols must be observed by all.
Yes, and we're going to dig into that in the second half of this hour. But for now, let's talk about hospitals. Mr. Wedder, we're told about Hola Referral Hospital, where a man died after of diabetes complications, but then tested positive also for COVID-19, and 50 patients vanished from that particular hospital. The anxiety could be understandable, particularly in certain areas where stigma is quite rife. But then how can hospitals actually adapt to this reality? Because we do know actually in many instances people do get this virus from hospitals. So should we be having special facilities like what we saw in Italy and China? What can Kenya do actually to cope with this particular situation? Because we do know that there are people who need medical attention. Forget about COVID-19 even before this was upon us.
Yes, I think the biggest problem with corona is the rate and the manner in which it spreads. That is why it causes fear. That is the reason why people run. And the best way, there should have been a specific temporary hospital set up by government, national government, county government, specifically dealing with this, because it requires very specialized handling.
Yes.
There's not much treatment. There are no medicines that you say this will treat you. But there's a way, there are protocols that if it's handled, people are safe. So if you are in a ward of a general other diseases, then you are told there's also one of you here who also has corona. You know definitely there will be a further complication. So I think the way we are going forward, notwithstanding the protocols that the president has put, there should have been what the Chinese did. What did they do? They built temporary hospitals all over where symptomatic, asymptomatic, people are in the middle, people are whatever, are put and are cared for. And then the others who are having other problems, there should be testing, emergency testing, so that if I go in for any other ailment, they test COVID #1. Now, if we are not just doing that, we're just admitting people, surely, and you know you are in an hospital, you have high blood pressure or diabetes, and you know they say those complications will hasten your exit from this world, you'd rather go and swallow your medicine in the house or in the street.
Yes.
That is why people disappear. So we are also not handling certain aspects of it well. There needs to be changes to do it better, to keep everybody safe.
Yes. Now, our county governments struggle with maintaining COVID-19. We're having an outcry from the counties whereby we're being told the governors are raising their alarm as June funds go delayed. And this is on page 4 of the Standard this morning. And a couple of quotes here from the governors who are fearing the lack of cash will hurt efforts to prevent COVID-19 from spreading at the county level and in the devolved regions. We're having Laikipia Governor Ndiritu Murithi saying, I read deep intrigue and sabotage against devolution. Right there, you can see it on your screen. And we have Kwale Governor Amason Kingi saying, we understand that the ministry is having issues raising revenue. No county has received their June disbursement. This will expose counties to financial problems as it might affect payment of salaries. And then we have Mandera Governor Ali Roberts saying that the county got another 31 million to pay health workers allowances. This was followed by a circular from the Salaries and Remuneration Commission that all health workers should be paid, but without the funds, this cannot be. This will not be able to be. They won't be able to actualize that. So, what do you make of this delay and the ripple effects it will have? I'll start with the Honourable Mutambo.
Before I go to the delay,
yes,
I'll ask myself a simple question: what is a county government for? You see, these governors, they behave as if they don't collect taxes. They behave as if they depend entirely on exchequer, the money which comes from the government. It is like babies who are seated there and opening their mouth to wait to be fed. Then why do we need them? They collect revenues. I tell you, these governors, these counties collect a lot of revenues.
Right.
The only problem is that the misuse of the money they collect, they don't make it, they don't put it to the right use. People who go to hospital, they pay money. Everybody, you move from point A to, you are in a matatu. That matatu, when it is crossing a county boundary, it pays. People are being levied money. Where do they take that money? I want to hear one governor saying, this month I collected 122 million, and out of that 2 million, I have started a foundation, or I've bought 3 beds, and I need national government to hand me more money to buy mattresses. They are not telling us. They are only crying to the national government. And that's why the other time we were here, I was proposing to President Uhuru Kenyatta, instead of talking about this function is devolved, let me give this money to the counties. Send your army, send your people there to build this. If the issue is about hospitals and beds, send your people there to go and build these hospitals. Because governors will sit down. The moment they get money, they will now start saying, oh, the MCS, they want to ditch me. They did not pass the budget, so I cannot use this money. You see, there is a procurement act. I cannot spend it. They will give us all the excuses. These are just lame excuses the governors are giving, and I'm not taking them, because they collect revenues. What do you do with that revenue you collect? Go back to where I come from. I come from Kitui. They are collecting revenues from everybody who is doing business. All the shops in Kitui, they pay licenses. Those licenses you pay on a yearly basis. Where do they put that money? All that matatu terminals, you will find somebody with yellow dust coat or white or whatever color, collecting money. You go to the market, you go to sell your cow, they collect revenue. You go to sell your chicken, they collect revenue. Any mama boga putting some stuff on the market, they collect. Where do they take that money? Why are they looking at the national government? And yet they know it is their people who are affected. It is the same people they will go for to ask for votes. So this is a lame excuse that the budget has not come. Whether the budget has come or not, as a government, because you are proclaiming to be a government. What kind of a government are you? Then are you a begging government? We should call them a begging government of counties.
Yes.
I think we should change the name and call them begging counties. I mean, government of counties. They are government, and they collect revenues. And within the law, they are allowed to use that money in whichever form. Why can't they use that money they collect and then return it to return the returns to Auditor General and say, we collected 1 million this month or this week, and we have set a foundation, because nothing bars them from doing that.
Right.
So to me, I don't think the issue of budget should be brought to this discussion.
So whether Governor Kingi has talked about salaries, and I like that Mr. Mtambo has talked about the generation of revenue, and of course there's also talk of how various county governments have resources that they can harness and make money out of. Why do you think we are not at that level where we can actually stand on our own independently, and then maybe the monies that come from the national government that trickle down are monies that are just used to add to what we already have at the county level?
Yes, some governors are crybabies. They love crying. I didn't hear Governor Kebwana crying. We are in an emergency. In an emergency, what it means is that you reallocate funds to deal with the emergency. You don't say government. They also know that the revenue collection at the national level has also been hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. They know it. Not that they were in Uganda or somewhere in another country, then they arrived and found the coffers empty. They know this, and they know there will be delay. The government had also, the national government has to budget and to put in, look for funds here and there. So the county governments have to reallocate and say, we have an emergency. We have to keep our health workers ready and happy. We have to put in temporary hospitals. You reallocate funds. But because these emergencies are not lucrative enough for bribes and corruption, they don't want to do that. Right. They want to continue with the programs as they were and say, government, you didn't send us the money we needed, so let people die. Let people go. I don't understand why they would be complaining, yet they're also collecting money, just like my colleague Mheshimiwa has said.
Yes.
They collect a lot of it. If you take a county like Kisumu, they collect so much. You take Mombasa, they collect so much. You take Kakamega, they collect so much. So much in the sense that it is enough to deal with the corona pandemic emergencies. So coming on radio or on TV to say, as we will not do anything, some of these people should have gone home yesterday or last week. But people will get what they elect. When they go for elections, they elect people based on tribe. Right. They elect people based on party. They elect people based on money these people produces. So when there is corona pandemic, they will reap that one, exactly. Otherwise, good governors would have known, okay, we have even in our own houses.
Yeah.
This is not the time I go out to buy TV, to buy big sofa set. No, this is the time where you say it is
Manage
about
it.
food,
Yes.
security, and survival, and health. Any other thing, including school fees, we are going to eat it for now. Come January, God will see us through. You can't just say, I have what I have is for fees, therefore let government do this. That is wrong. These governors, some of them require very nice nyaunyo to see the light.
Now let's take a look at the Daily Nation. The front page is telling us about Raila's NYS ghosts haunt Raila, key ally. Of course, the name Raila is being roped into it because of proximity to the Suna East Member of Parliament, as well as its prominence. But obviously, this has to do squarely with Suna East legislators, who has been named a director of a company that was awarded 21.8 million shilling tender by a ministerial committee in which his brother-in-law was acting as head. And of course, this is coming up a very long, drawn-out battle to find justice as far as that NYS scandal is concerned. And on page 2 of the Daily Nation, we're told about Raila ally caught up in that fresh probe into NYS scandal as detectives go on trial of cash. Now, there are various other companies that have been named here that have been put on display right here, and it's just trying to give us a graphic that will ensure we understand how this were entangled. We have a brother-in-laws, a director, a lot of nepotism you would imagine, or rather familial relations when it comes to how this monies were circulated. What do you make of this, Honorable Mutambo, and do you think we'll ever find clarity in terms of the NYS scandal?
You see, when you see people running to join the government and to support Uhuru, most of them, they are doing so to hide their sins. They know when I go here, I will not be touched. What I want to tell Kenyans is that not only Junaid Mohammed, go to the ground and see the lifestyle of many, many leaders. You will be shocked. Because it is not possible for somebody to be elected tomorrow or to be employed tomorrow, and the day after is raising a skyrocket mansion somewhere, or is buying 10 V8 vehicles, or is living this kind of a lifestyle. They are hitting life with a big spoon because they are doing a lot of shoddy deals out there. It is not only Junet alone. I can tell you there are many people who are implicated in this corruption. The only people whom we can say they are not corrupt in our system are people who can hardly afford their living, and they are serving their people who elected them in the right manner. But I want to tell you, Tracy, as a leader, I know them. If I'm asked who can, if ICC, want to arrest the people who are stealing from Kenyans, I'll tell them who are they. Because people are out there stealing people's money, but they go scot-free, or they align themselves with the government, where they try to defend the government so that they are not questioned or they are not arrested. And I'm happy that the system nowadays is not like that. I remember Uhuru Kenyatta said that simu zimesimwa, hiyo simu napiga sasa hakuna tena, and I like it. So I want to tell Kenyans again that what they are seeing is just a drop in the ocean. Mentioning Junet is just a very small thing. There are so many people out there. We've been treated that the same Junet is being mentioned with another scam, which is coming from Kemsa. Why so? And you know, because they talk too much, and because they are close to the power to be, they threaten the CEOs, they threaten the tender people, and they tell them, you know, if you don't give me this, I'm going to expose you, or I'm going to have you fired. So they front their cronies to get the businesses. It is happening in our country,
Yes.
and that is the real life. That is the real life. That is what is happening in our country. So don't, let people not be cheated that there is anybody who is checking. There are no checks and balances anymore.
Yes, and I like that was actually what I was thinking about just about now, because these are the same people who were crying foul when it came to the NYS scandal, basically being the whistleblower, but at the same time they're being implicated. It's quite unfortunate that it would seem that in terms of leadership, there is nobody that can be trusted, because it seems corruption is touching on everyone. Mr. Wedder, sorry.
I think there's a criteria that the creator of all things said. If you want to know people and you want to know, don't listen to what they say. Look at their fruits. Look at what they are giving birth to. Somebody cannot tell you he's a crusader against corruption, against this, talking very nicely before the television station. But you look at them and you say, this one, I can't trust. So some of these people are saying they are the whistleblowers. You just look at them and you say, surely, if so and so the whistleblower, it could have been that he was just shortchanged. It is not that he loves the country so much that when money is going, he is very concerned. It's just like, you people took, I didn't get. Now I'm going to expose you.
Right.
That is the trend we have generally in Kenya. There were days when there were leaders who would stand up to something and say, this is wrong. And you sit and say, wow, I think something is wrong. But for now, it is, so-and-so has bought 2, 3 V8s. I have not bought. Let me find out. Then you just talk helter-skelter. NYS, like Goldenberg, has reached deep. It has reached so deep that if people are to be arrested, it will be quite a number. But Junet, my brother, is just lucky that he's on the Kieleweke side. If this was a time when he's on Tanga, today at 6 or 5, his house would have been surrounded. They would find out what he did later when he has gone to Kiambu Road. So, but now that they are the close people next to the people who say they are as clean, as white as cotton, only God knows who are clean, but a lot of money is being used. Some of these people, if you want to know how they are, somebody is elected while he's driving a Boxer scooter. That's all he has. He couldn't afford anything. Campaigning has just stolen the party ticket. Papa has given him and he has stolen it, and now he's being elected. He can't even afford to slaughter chicken for supporters. Then immediately he's elected, 6 months, 2 V8s, Range Rover, he has moved to Rwanda. You look and say, wow, is there a bigger toilet in the parliament where a lot of money flows? It is corruption. So we see them. And we mesmerize, and they come for Harambes, and when you see some people going to some place to see our leader in Austin, and they go on a private charter, then you know that the devil is fat.
Absolutely, and that's quite interesting. Well, there's another story that's tagged to, related to the story on Senator Sakaja. We're being told by the Daily Nation on page 4 and 5, a spread on death and disease lurks, but unheeding Kenyans make merry and break the law. Apparently, the pubs and clubs in Nairobi have become the breeding grounds for COVID-19. Take a look at that and much more across the dailies. But for now, let's take a short break. When we come back, we shall have more for you right here on Morning Express.